Hello everyone, this is part 3 of what if Naruto was actually helped by the third Hokage, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. An unknown test. Naruto refocused as he concluded his stretching. He had removed his gravity and weight seals in preparation for this. Jiraiya had helped Naruto paint them onto his body nearly 6 months ago during one of his random check-ins. Naruto found that as the gravity levels went up, he would feel way heavier and get lightheaded. Tsunade was in charge of monitoring the seals, even though Jiraiya and Naruto were the only ones that knew how to adjust them. She was the one who informed him that increasing the gravity levels would make it harder for blood to circulate through his body. Thus, Naruto had to spend months at each level of gravity seal. In order to maintain his progress rate, Naruto used weight seals to act as intermediary gravity levels. For instance, if he set his overweight to 100 pounds, then at gravity level 3 the weights would weigh nearly 400 pounds. Tsunade was very strict about the gradual increase. She taught Naruto how to channel chakra internally to reinforce his muscles and organs passively to deal with the increased burden. While Naruto's healing and growth factors were amazing, she didn't want to stunt the boy's growth. Returning to present time, Naruto heard a deep chuckle in the back of his mind. Yeah Kit, you sure did surprise me. Never did I think that I would be able to trust a human again, Kurama said earnestly. So, are you ready for this? If you pass this test and beat this ninja instructor, I will start training you on the first tale of my power. As ready as I will ever be, Kurama. You know me, I will either pass this test or pass out from exhaustion. Because I will never give up, thought back Naruto. Very well, Kit. Show me how far you have come. Naruto gave a mental fist bump to Kurama as he stood to his full height and shook himself out. He watched the Hokage walk up with an Anbu in a dog mask. Okay, Naruto-kun. This here is Inu, an Anbu captain. Today you will be fighting against Inu's shadow clone. You have 1 hour to destroy his shadow clone, so fight with the intent to kill. Hi, Hokage Shiji. I will get it done. The excitement in Naruto's tone earned a chuckle from the aged Hokage. Inu took offense to this. How can a brat that just turned 9 years old think that he could beat an Anbu captain? Sure. Kakashi had heard of the kid's amazing progress. However, genius and prodigy were such overused words in Konoha. It seems one kid every year was given the title. And he was supposed to fight this kid. Yeah, right. Kakashi scoffed internally as he heard the Hokage tell him to get ready. So, he gave a wave and a casual, hi, to his Hokage. He created a shadow clone and gave it roughly half of his chakra. That should be more than enough to fight the kid for an hour, thought an amused Kakashi. Naruto went to the center of the field. He started saturating his body with chakra in preparation for the fight. Tsunade's lesson had taught him to use chakra to augment his natural speed and strength. When both fighters were ready at the center of the field, Hiruzen stepped forward. Naruto-kun, there are no limitations on your end. Show us what you can do. Kakashi, nothing that will maim or permanently injure the boy. Both fighters replied casually with, hi, Hokage-sama, and made the sign of altercation to one another. Hajime, shouted Hiruzen as he walked off the field. Both fighters stood there analyzing each other for a good 30 seconds. Naruto was in a ready posture, his muscles tight and coiled. Kakashi's clone was standing completely relaxed, basically telling the boy it didn't take him seriously. The clone then drew a copy of Ika, Paradise, out of its kunai pouch. This royally ticked Naruto off, so before the clone could even start reading its smut, it was forced to dispel from a chakra-enhanced kick to its head. The audience was stunned. I mean, it's not every day you see a child beat an Anbu captain in under a minute. Most of the esteemed eyes present had seen the boy Kawarimi with the clone's book and lash out with impressive speeds at the dog mask Anbu's head. The clone had dispelled before its book even hit the ground. As all heads turned to Kakashi and gave him an, "Are you serious?" look, Hiruzen chuckled. Unlike Kakashi, Hiruzen kept his perversion hidden safely in the shadows. Kakashi rubbed the back of his head sheepishly and said, Ma. It's just a shadow clone. Inu-san. I am very familiar with shadow clones. Each of them gets their personality straight from the original. At the most, there are some slight differences in personality. I think that means the clone reading smut in the middle of a fight is all you. Fits of laughter racked the onlookers. Hitomi was full on laughing and the prim and proper Hiyashi could be seen with his back turned to the rest of the group. It was clear from the rhythmic bouncing of his back that he was trying and failing to suppress his laughter. It was that day that most in attendance heard Hiyashi Hyuga chuckle for the first time in a decade. Naruto wasn't happy though. He had trained hard for this year and this clown of an Anbu didn't take him seriously. With a dark and serious tone that didn't fit with the playful mood, Naruto stated, Anbu-san, if you are not going to take me seriously, please leave and let Hokage-sama find a replacement. I have worked hard over the past year and wish to test myself. The real Kakashi stepped forward this time. Okay, kid, you have my attention. If you can land a hit on me in the next 30 minutes, you pass this test. Hiruzen and Danzo exchanged a look. They knew this version of Kakashi. This was the Anbu Captain Kakashi that had done Konoha's hardest missions for the past 12 years. Despite Minato's last words, Kakashi could never get over the grief and guilt he felt. That is how he justified hiding in Anbu and never meeting Naruto before now. This time, he took the initiative and launched himself at Naruto. Naruto was caught off guard by his speed but still managed to block Kakashi's straight punch with an X-guard. The force made the child slide back about 10 feet. Kakashi was stunned because he thought that punch would have ended things quickly. Naruto recovered quickly, crossed his fingers into the soon-to-be famous cross-hand sign and shouted, Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. 5 clones appeared around Naruto. One clone repeated the hand sign, summoning his squad of 9 shadow clones and charged in a coordinated fashion at the Anbu. 2 clones jumped to either side of the melee, summoned their clones and took out kunai. The other 2 clones jumped off into either tree line. Naruto himself began to pull out some flash tags in case his clones couldn't get the job done. Kakashi was stunned. He had heard about Naruto being able to use shadow clones, so he wasn't too surprised when the kid summoned 5 of them. Then Kakashi saw how the clones were coordinated and how they each summoned their own clones. Holy shit, this kid is a one-man army, thought Kakashi as he dodged and counted the frontline clones' taijutsu. It was easy enough for him to work his way through the 10 frontline clones. He did notice that each clone was using a slightly different taijutsu style than the next. As the smoke from the last clone cleared, Kakashi's eyes widened as he was pinned from either side by a hail of kunai. He executed an emergency kawarimi with a log from the woods nearby. It was there that Kakashi got jumped by another 10 clones and beaten to a pulp. The negative side effect of using an emergency kawarimi is that it leaves the user disoriented for a couple seconds while they regather their bearings. In the middle of his beating, he told the Naruto clones that they won, and the test was over. A bruised and beaten dog-masked Anbu walked out of the woodline with his hands up in a surrender gesture. The kid wins, he said, and then shunshined away before he could suffer any further embarrassment. The real Naruto walked up to the group of spectators and said, well, Gigi, I didn't really get to show off much, but this means I pass, right? Hiruzen chuckled and ruffled the boy's hair. Yes, Naruto-kun. With flying colors, I may add. Danzo complimented the boy on his strategy and looked meaningfully at his friend. Hiruzen gave him a nod that said, we will talk about this later. In the back of Naruto's mind, Kurama congratulated the boy. Well done, Kit. Next Friday we will begin working with my chakra. Prepare yourself. My chakra is far denser than yours and it is poisonous to most people. Even with the seal purifying some of it, it will be a lot for your young body to handle. Talk to your Hokage about this. He will likely wish to have someone present. Alright, thanks Kurama. I can't wait. How are things inside the seal? Replied Naruto. They will do for now, Kit. I am excited to see if your idea with shadow clones works. For now, celebrate your victory. I am taking a nap. That night, the Hokage and Tsunade took out all the trainers, Naruto's friends and the clan heads that were following Naruto's progress for dinner at the Akamaiki barbecue restaurant. Sadly, Danzo, Neji and Sasuke declined the invite. That didn't stop the group from having 20,000 ryo worth of food and drink though, much to the chagrin of Sarutobi's wallet. Ino and Shikamaru, the two Naruto had gotten to closest to, claimed the seats next to him and caught him up on their first year at the academy. The next day in the Hokage office, Naruto's trainers met in the Hokage office. Additionally, a Drago-masked Anbu was standing on Hiruzen's right side. Okay, we all saw how much Naruto has improved. Sadly, he dealt with Inu before we could get too much out of him, but I have a plan. The Hokage had to stifle a laugh at the memory. This turned into an awkward fit of coughs since he was holding in a drag from his pipe. All in attendance were keenly interested in what awaited the blonde. Tsunade was terrified that it might put Naruto in danger. She knew he was strong, but it terrified her thinking of him becoming a shinobi at 9 years old. Hiruzen continued, well, I believe it is still too early to introduce Naruto-kun to the public. After talking with Naruto, it is clear he wants to test his strength and start his shinobi career. Danzo and Dragon came up with, what I believe to be, a viable option. Since Naruto is clearly past academy level, Naruto will work and train as an honorary Anbu for the next year. Danzo and I will give Naruto-kun missions directly that will test him and benefit Konoha. During the week, he will train with Anbu Team Ro and run missions inside Konoha for me. We will honor his current training setup and only work him 4 days a week. The boy is strong, smart and on his way to becoming a splendid shinobi. I want to use this year to get him experience around the best shinobi Konoha has to offer. Tsunade listened with a concerned expression on her face. Sensei, he isn't going to be doing any wet work or fighting shinobi, is he? Everyone was surprised when Danzo answered, that is not the plan. Not yet at least. I have instructed him on some of the darker aspects of a shinobi's life. However, even I do not want to taint the boy's light with blood just yet. Everyone's surprise came from the genuine tone easily detected in Danzo's voice. The third took the pause to cut in, we want Naruto to benefit from the experience of being around highly trained shinobi. Team Ro will remain on duty in Konoha doing basic protection missions, patrols around the village and other safer duties. I do plan on Team Ro being dispatched to the fire capital in 3 months to meet with the daimyo. It seems Daimyo-sama misses Minato dearly and wants the chance to meet his son. He requested Team Ro for some intelligence gathering that he will need done as a pretense to meet Naruto-kun. So, he is just going to train and work with Anbu here in Konoha for the first year? Asked Tsunade. Her face and posture had relaxed considerably throughout Hiruzen's explanation. Yes, Tsunade-chan. He will have some other tasks, but this sneaky old monkey will just tell you to wait and see what we have planned. I am sure you will get a kick out of it. At that moment, a shudder ran down the spine of every clan head in Konoha. 3 months later in Anbu HQ Lounge. Naruto's introduction to Team Ro, where he met Nico, cat, Kuma, bear, Hibi, snake, and Inu, dog, came the week following his test with Inu. They had welcomed him aboard by abducting him for 2 months of hell in Training Ground 44, dubbed the Forest of Death. Team Ro couldn't get enough of the vibrant new addition to their team. Especially since Naruto never stopped taking pop shots at Inu Teiko. Nico and Hibi hogged as much training time as they could with the recruit. For some reason, Hibi thought it was okay to repeatedly smush Kitsune into her massive chest whenever he did something right. Despite Kitsune's protest, and Inu's snickers, she was also the one that spent the most time with Kitsune during the training in her home. Yes, this crazy snake lady dubbed the Forest of Death her home, and she declared the sleepless night in the forest fighting oversized snakes, bugs and other jungle creatures as sleepovers. Kami, Naruto was tired of sleepovers. The quietest member of the team was Kuma, a massive man towering over Kitsune at 6 foot 4 inches. He was the team's frontline fighter and taijutsu expert. He had a powerful earth affinity that he incorporated into a bone-breaking taijutsu style. Kitsune loved his time with the gentle giant. Despite getting throttled repeatedly by said gentle giant during training, Naruto learned something new from Kuma for each beatdown he received. The team bonded together over their training of the blonde. It helped that each team member was given a clone captain to command and instruct. The real Naruto would train with one team member each day and then run off into the forest on some mission that Hibi or Inu would give him. Missions like hunting big-ass boars or oversized bears. Collecting venom from the giant 8-legged denizens of the forest. scavenging for herbs and spices that could be used to patch his wounds and make dinner tastier. Kitsune swore that almost every mission was him being this sadistic team's grocery boy, although it was great experience. After 2 months, Naruto had grown into his place in the team. He enjoyed the unique camaraderie that being a 9-year-old Anbu brought. In turn, his team enjoyed the break from shitty S-ranked missions that would rob them of sleep for days at a time. They really enjoyed the energy and light that Kitsune brought into the team dynamic. Currently, 3 months into his Anbu career, raucous laughter could be heard throughout the Anbu headquarters. It was all coming from the Anbu lounge where a tiny, blonde Kitsune-masked Anbu was recounting his latest conquest. Many veteran Anbu would come up and slap him on the back. Some of the newer recruits would get on their knees and bow to him in mock worship. Hibi was the one laughing the loudest and saying, "That's my Gaki. He did this solo." She was also trying to make a quick buck by selling copies of the pictures. This wouldn't go over so well with the Hyuga clan elders if they ever found out. Over the last week, Operative Kitsune had infiltrated and pranked 3 of the head clans of Konoha, Uchiha, Inuzuka and Hyuga. These were the special missions that Danzo and the Hokage had assigned him. Danzo taught Naruto to observe his targets and strike them where it hurt the most, all from the shadows. Kitsune conducted these missions with his mask off. The Hokage didn't want it to be associated with Anbu lest Naruto got caught. Naruto's mission directly from the Hokage was to attempt to infiltrate the clan compounds and retrieve an item or information that would be damaging if an enemy shinobi were able to find it. Danzo's addition to the mission, a bonus task if you will, was to prank each clan in the way it would hurt their pride the most and spur them to take action. Pride was a powerful motivator to improve. Danzo and Hiruzen acknowledged that the village's security had gotten quite lax over the past couple of years, and they wanted to give the clans a wake-up call. The third clan to receive said wake-up call was the Hyuga clan. Naruto felt guilty about this one. He knew a lot about the Hyuga and didn't want to betray the trust Hiashi, Hisashi, Hitomi and Hinata had shown him. However, Naruto did have a score to settle with the clan elders. Naruto had infiltrated the clan compound, put alarm seals on every wall of the main house. On the floor were paint traps that painted their victim pink. On each door was a flash tag of Naruto's own making. Naruto only targeted the main house for this, as an olive branch to Neji. Kitsune accomplished his main task by acquiring a scroll on the gentle fist. Therefore, it was time to play. When Kitsune activated 40 alarm seals in the Hyuga main house, the whole village heard it. Every member of the main house, sans the previously named members, woke up, jumped out of bed and was painted pink. The seals Naruto placed were located at the bedside of each Hyuga clan member. In their fury, they activated their Byakugan and were treated to 40 flash tags going off throughout the compound. Kitsune then took pictures of the Hyuga elders, painted pink, stumbling around walking into walls. Since their eyes were activated, the blindness lasted for nearly an hour. This was the biggest blow to Hyuga pride in clan history. Kitsune left the gentle fist scroll, a sorry letter and a full report on how he infiltrated the Hyuga compound on the Hokage's desk. An hour and a half later, an enraged Hiashi roared into the Hokage's office, trailed by a bemused Hisashi. Both had an inkling of who had done this, but no proof. When they entered the Hokage's office and saw their clan scroll sitting on his desk, they confirmed their suspicions. "Ah, Hiashi, I was expecting you. I suppose it is time to tell you that I have commissioned a security expert to test our clan's security systems." It would seem that said operative made quite a fuss at the Hyuga compound. Chuckled out a highly amused Hiruzen Sarutobi. Slight giggles could be heard from the corners where the Hokage's Anbu detail was hidden. "Hokage-sama, are you telling me that you approved of the actions taken against my clan? Now Hiashi Dono, no real harm was done to your clan. The report submitted to me was quite thorough. Would you care to review it?" said Hiruzen as he handed the report and pictures to the Hyuga clan head. Hayashi saw the pictures and was initially filled with rage. Then he read the report and was forced to add some humility into his posture. By then end, Hayashi had to chew on and swallow multiple servings of humble pie. Hisashi was reading over his brother's shoulder. His face began to redden, and his cheeks bulged as he struggled to keep in the laughter that he wanted to let out. Hisashi couldn't confirm it, not that he would want to if he could, but he had a significant inkling to give Naruto a gift the next time he trained him. In Hiyashi's hands was a veritable gold mine of blackmail on all the clan elders that made Hiyashi's life so damn difficult. In fact, Hiyashi noticed that all of the pictures were Hyuga elders. Most of the main and branch houses had been spared. A smirk crept upon Hiyashi's face. With the power of humiliation, the operative gave Hiyashi the edge he needed to take back control of the Hyuga elders. Hiruzen watched the emotions flash across Hiyashi's face. He knew this was a large, bittersweet pill for him to swallow. When he saw the smirk, he resumed the conversation. Hiyashi, these security tests will continue until I see marked improvement. It is safe to assume that similar consequences will be attached to further failures. I am sure your elders will want to prevent such a thing from happening again. Oh, and do keep them from trying to ascertain the identity of my operative. I doubt they would be able to, but I really don't feel like dealing with that headache. Hiyashi and Hisashi bowed to the Hokage and said in strong voices, "Hi, Hokage-sama. It will be done." Hiruzen chuckled to himself, and the Anbu let out the laughter they had been holding in. Between the chicken incident at the Uchiha police precinct, the Inuzuka dogs humping everything that moved for 3 days straight, and now the pink Hyuga, Kitsune brought so much joy to the Anbu Corps and village as a whole. Dragon appeared beside the Hokage. The Hokage could see the smirk through Dragon's mask by the way it lifted slightly around his chin. Hokage-sama, Kitsune is pure gold. My Corps loves the kid. Not just Team RO, but everyone. Morale has been up since he returned from his camping trip. Over the past 2 weeks, mission success rate increased by 15%. If this continues, I will have to insist on making Naruto a full-time member of the Corps. Hiruzen sighed. Dragon, you know I want Naruto to have whatever semblance of a childhood that is left for him. I understand where you are coming from, though. For the remainder of the year, we will stick to the plan. If Kitsune wishes to don the mask full-time after this year, I will talk about it with Jiraiya and Tsunade. They will have the final say. As you wish, Hokage-sama. Dragon replied and then disappeared. Throughout the year, Naruto took breaks from Anbu life by visiting his friends at their clan compounds. Each clan member was sworn to secrecy if they were able to figure out Naruto's lineage. The clan heads were responsible for enforcing this. Nearly 6 months into Naruto's first year in Anbu, his friends and their parents were noticing the absence of their friend. After Inoki and Ino brought their concerns to the Hokage, Hiruzen ordered Naruto to make the rounds and visit his friends. This weekend, Naruto had set up a picnic for him and his friends. He used the promise of a lower severity prank to the Akamaiki to negotiate with Chooser for some top-shelf Akamaiki food. The giant of a man rapidly accepted the offer. Naruto's first 2 infiltrations into the Akamaiki compound had left his wife and clan in a rather foul mood. For the life of him, he couldn't figure out how Naruto had swapped all their best cuts of meat with broccoli and Brussels sprouts. Chuji cried that night when his father told him that the whole clan had to eat a vegetarian meal for 1 night in order to get their precious meat back. Naruto met his friends in the Hokage's private training ground for the picnic. Hiruzen set this up so prying eyes wouldn't ask about why some blonde orphan was friends with all the future clan heirs. Naruto spent the day deflecting questions on where he has been and why he wasn't attending the academy. He didn't appreciate having to lie to his friends, but he understood that it was necessary. The whole picnic was going perfectly well until Ino grabbed him by the arm and demanded they go on a walk. Naruto listened to her rant about how the whole academy thought Sasuke was so special and that she just wanted him to be there with her. She ranted about a girl named Sakura who was obsessed with Sasuke and about Sasuke's haughty attitude. She didn't understand why Sasuke had closed up so much over the past year. After a 20-minute rant from Ino that made Naruto nod his head and say, "Yeah, aha," a whole bunch to convince her he was listening, Ino began to question Naruto. Naruto told Ino that he would go on trips with Jiraiya around Fire Country. He said Jiraiya would train him while they traveled and all that. The cover story barely held up to Ino's scrutiny, but she relented so long as Naruto would visit more often. When the two returned to the group, Kiba's crude comments and not so subtle innuendos made the pair blush. Nobody noticed Hinata's hands ball into fists or the calculating gaze of Shikamaru. Chuji just offered the two some beef jerky and helped the group move past it. Naruto really did enjoy getting to catch up with his friends and promised each of them that he would make a greater effort to stop by their compounds on some weekends. End of probationary period for Operative Kitsune. The year went by in a flash for Naruto. He had very little free time. Even though he only worked actively in Anbu 4 days a week, he still wanted to train outside of the Anbu Corps. Since his week was occupied, Naruto would often send shadow clone captains to various clan heads on the weekends. This let him keep in touch with his friends, although they never knew the clone captains weren't the original Naruto. It took quite some time for Naruto's friends to realize they were all meeting with him individually at the same time over the weekend. In fact, it took them the whole second year at the academy for them to come to this realization. This didn't really bother anyone too much, except Ino. Ino missed her Ruto, the affectionate name she gave to Naruto. He made her feel so much better. He would listen to her, tend the flower shop with her and help her with her problems. It was thanks to Naruto that Ino gave up on the diet fad after her first year at the academy. He told her, "Why diet when you can train instead?" He said it with such certainty and conviction that Ino decided to listen. Now, in her second year, she was keeping up with Hinata in spars and the physical aspects of shinobi life. Inoki was ever grateful to Naruto for helping break Ino out of a behavior that would have left her helpless when she got out of the academy. Alas, when Ino found out that she had been dealing with a Naruto clone, she insisted that the real Ruto come next week and take her out to dinner, as an apology of course. Naruto showed up not knowing that Ino was treating this as a date, so when he acted casually, she bonked him on the head and made him treat her like a proper lady. Naruto took the cue and grabbed Ino's hand. He took her out to their favorite flower field where they caught up on things. Ino, being the gossip she is, couldn't help but talk about Konoha's devil prankster. It was the talk of the town. Once a week, a clan would get pranked. There was no pattern to the pranks, no rhythm that could be found whatsoever. Security remained high, the 24th of July 365. Yet, the prankster kept claiming victims. He was recently cited by a Hyuga that claimed he was a boy, 4 feet 9 inches. He moved faster than the Byakugan could track, and he kept disappearing from view, even with the Dujutsu activated. This latest news was shared among all clans. There was a joint mission to catch this prankster and even a reward posted for 100,000 Ryo. This sighting was the only clue that they had after suffering for an entire year. Of course, everyone that knew Naruto knew the most likely culprit, but they never had any proof and the Hokage just kept handing them the after-action reports. Those in the know kept it to themselves. There was a massive betting pool among a majority of the ninja population. You get to choose the day the prankster would get caught for 100 Ryo. This betting pool exceeded the reward posted for catching the prankster. The current pot was up to $420,969 Ryo. When the Hokage said that the pranks would be ceasing next week, he announced to the ninja populace that if the prankster were not caught by October 10th, then the prankster would collect the pot. It was the last week to catch the prankster, so a public challenge was issued to him. Hit us with your best shot, you will not get away from us this time. For a gossip like Ino, this was pure gold. She would talk to Naruto and speculate on who it could be. She was so lost in her thoughts that she missed the sparkle in Naruto's eyes and the slight swelling of his chest. The Kyuubi chuckled deep inside Naruto's mind, to think this whole village is on high alert and you're out here having a date with Blondie. It's putting your genius to work at its finest. Kurama was immensely proud of his container. The boy had worked so hard and never wavered. His dedication to his trade earned the fox's admiration. The resolve he demonstrated through his training made the fox think that he would allow the boy a second tail soon. Before that though, the boy would have to take a life. Kurama needed the boy to crush this last barrier and prayed to Kami that it wouldn't break him. Thanks, Q. I appreciate the compliment. I took after my sensei after all. Thought back Naruto, although it was clear he was distracted by the blonde beauty. Alright, Kit. Enjoy your date. Tonight, we do the prep work. Hi, replied an amused Naruto. He came back to reality seeing Ino inches in front of his face. Geez, Ruto, you spaced out on me there. Were you even listening? Challenged a pouty blonde. Yes, Ino, I heard you. I tell you what, next week I will tell you who the devil is. What? You know the devil? How? shouted Ino. After looking around to make sure they weren't be overheard, Naruto answered, "He is a friend of mine. I will not tell you more than that. If you keep pushing me for the answer, I won't tell you who he is at all." Ino pouted and adopted her puppy dog eyes. After seeing it wasn't going to work, she said, "Fine, Ruto. But that's a promise." They went out to Ichiraku's and enjoyed the rest of the date. It ended with Naruto walking her home and getting a peck on the cheek. With his face flush, Naruto walked home a happy boy. Subchapter: Prank Day. The whole Anbu Corps was sworn to secrecy when it came to the devil prankster's identity. Hell, everyone in the know was sworn to secrecy. However, they were allowed to attempt to capture him, should they catch him in the act. For the final week of the declared prank war, everyone was on high alert. It was a busy morning in Konoha. The markets were coming to life, vendors and civilians alike waiting to see the show. The anticipation was building. The prankster had 3 days left to strike. Just after 8 a.m., the chaos began. It started with a roar from a Kyuubi-enhanced Naruto at the entrance of the Forest of Death. Using the Kyuubi's chakra, Naruto let out a bestial roar that projected throughout Konoha. Clone Squad 1 had prepared siren tags that were placed around the village. Everybody was covering their ears and trying to catch sight of the prankster. Hanged Naruto clones were dispersed around Konoha to keep Naruto aware of the battlefield. The hanged clone captains would create and disperse shadow clones to pass on the knowledge of sentries and troop movements. Squads of Chunin and Genin were running around to each siren, trying to catch the devil prankster and earn the reward and fame. As the siren tags died out, a massive firework that shot out blue flames went off above Konoha's gates. The flames took the likeness of the head of Kyuubi before dispersing. It took all the chakra of a shadow clone captain to make this happen. The people were confused and slightly terrified when they saw the likeness of a fox. Not enough to make them panic, but enough to set them on edge. This display earned the response of 3 Anbu teams and 2 squads of Jonin, all according to plan. During the distraction, Naruto was painting the Hokage monument. He had developed stealth seals and created a plethora of tags that he distributed to his clone captains. These tags imitated Jiraiya's invisibility jutsu, it just didn't work as well when within 10 feet of a ninja. He could walk right past a civilian with the seal active, but most Jonin would sense him about 10 feet away. A good sensor could pick him up about 25 feet away. Thank Kami, good senses are rare, thought Naruto. He painted a joint over the first Hokage's mouth with an air bubble that read, "Do you want to feel happy, too?" The second Hokage got a Hitlerian mustache. Don't ask Naruto why, it just fit. The third got a pipe drawn on him with smoke coming out of it. He had an air bubble answering the first saying, "You bet I do." The fourth got a toad and the Kyuubi drawn on his cheeks. Kyuubi made a stink in his mind about this but he could see the humor. Once Naruto was done painting, Naruto released the banner saying, "Catch me if you can." That covered the hair of each Hokage. Then Naruto created 10 shadow clones and stood on top of the Hokage monument. One of the clones jumped of the Hokage monument screaming until it got halfway down. Then it glowed a brilliant blue and exploded after saying, "Clone explosion jutsu." The explosion sounded like AM-80 going off and it produced a brilliant blue chakra light. The sound drew the village's attention to the Hokage monument. After a couple seconds, the clones on the end activated the fire-style, flamethrower techniques and blew the torrent of flames into the air. The clones in the middle blew a fireball after fireball. The real Naruto took a deep breath and executed a great breakthrough on all of the fire that was racing into the air. The result was a literal firestorm hovering over the village. All jaws dropped. The Hokage, Jiraiya and Tsunade knew something big was coming. They never expected the display they got from this blonde knucklehead. Hell, Hiruzen would be bordering on chakra exhaustion if he did what Naruto just did. As the fire cleared, Naruto's art could be seen by the whole village. A black blur could be seen racing away from the Hokage monument out toward the training grounds. Every single ninja in Konoha gave chase. The clone captain darted away from the Hokage mountain, making sure that everyone could catch a glimpse of him. He shunshined to the nearest training ground and created 20 low chakra clones. Their orders were to dispel on sight if sighted. The main purpose was to lose and distract the ninja tracking this particular clone captain. The captain had no doubt he would have to deal with a horde of Hyuga, Inuzuka and Aburame. His job was to lead him into the forest of death. As the clone captain made his way to the forest of death, he felt 18 of the 20 clones dispel. He had a 30s head start, that would do just fine. The clone captain heard shouting behind him and knew immediately who it was. Might Guy, the green beast of Konoha, and his student Rock Lee, who was still in the academy. Yosh, Lee-kun, we must catch this prankster. If we do not catch him, we will do 1,000 push-ups. If we cannot. The clone turned off his auditory senses. He couldn't be made to deal with all that. He knew that Might Guy was fast, but it was clear he was pacing his student. The clone made its final dash into training ground 44 and hopped the fence. It dashed to one of the campsites the Anbu had used during orientation. Then, with a smile on its face for a job well done, it dispelled. Naruto, the real Naruto, got the memories of his last clone captain and smiled. He lay back on the couch in his father's study and closed his eyes. Ah, the sweet taste of victory. Tsunade woke Naruto up from his nap 2 hours later. You sure you didn't go a bit overboard, brat? Naruto sat up and rubbed the back of his head sheepishly. Haha, maybe Bachan. I used most of my chakra making all those clones and seals. How is the village? It is nuts out there, brat. Ninjas are running around every which way still hoping they could get the reward. Hibby said that the pot for catching you today was 150,000 ryo. They are getting desperate out there. Naruto chuckled. Well Bachan, your next trip to the liquor store is on me. I knew I loved you, brat. Well done. Watch out for your Gigi though, he didn't like everyone knowing that he mixes that medicinal herb into his pipe. Haha, oops. You think you could get some of the good stuff from the hospital for me, as an apology to Gigi? Sure thing, brat. Get some sleep. With that Tsunade walked upstairs and waited for Naruto's payday. October 10th, Naruto's 10th birthday. Naruto reported in with Team Ro to the Hokage's office. Naruto recognized the smell that lingered in the office and smirked beneath his mask. Did you get my present from Bachan, Gigi? Yes, I did, Kitsune. It was much appreciated. You may inform Naruto-kun that we are square. Hiruzen took another deep drag in response to Naruto's nod and thought, the perks of being Hokage. Kitsune chimed back, Gigi, I have one more prank, are you ready for it? Hiruzen gave Naruto a hesitant nod. Naruto created 5 shadow clones that went over and started doing the paperwork for the Hokage. Repetitive, resounding thuds echoed around the room as Hiruzen dropped his pipe and started beating his head on his desk. Team Ro was shaking in silent fits of laughter. Inu Teiku wasn't so quiet about it though. Inu Teiku had really come back to life over the year. He felt like he was finally honoring his sensei's last wish, and this helped bring him a sense of closure. He was still eccentric as hell, and an open perv, but he started showing interest in things again. Naruto lovingly considered Inu Teiku a work in progress. After Hiruzen stopped berating himself, he looked at Team Ro with a swollen and red forehead. Team Ro, your activity and missions over the past year reflect well upon Kistyun's progress. I am still hesitant to send him into the field. However, each of his trainers and even Tsunade gave their approval. If this next mission is completed successfully, Kitsune will be a full-fledged member of Anbu and part of Team Ro. All I looked down upon Kitsune, who stood proudly with his shoulders back. Hi, Hokage-sama. Name it and it will be done. The boy's confident answer filled Hiruzen with pride. Naruto is becoming a fine young man and a great shinobi, he thought. Okay, Team Ro, you are to go to Tonika village. A group of bandits has been harassing the local population and recently women have started disappearing. Hiruzen confirmed his resolve and his face hardened. This is a recovery and kill mission. The locals do not have the resources to imprison bandits. Kitsune, you are tasked with completing this mission solo. Team Ro will be there to observe. They will step in if there is any threat to the lives of known civilians or yourself. If they need to interfere, we will delay your entry into Anbu. Am I clear? Hi, Hokage-sama, said a resolute Kitsune as Team Ro flickered out of the Hokage's office. Be safe, Naruto-kun. Show me you are strong enough to bear this burden. Hiruzen needed a couple dabs of the good stuff to calm him nerves down. Tonika Town, bandit extermination. Team Ro was out of the village 10 minutes after receiving orders from the Hokage. Everyone was worried for the blonde teammate, especially Hibi and Nico. They knew very well the weight of taking a life. Kitsune had yet to experience that. Honestly, what 10-year-old should be forced to take a life? Anyway, the team bounded through the treetops toward Tonika town. Kurama had been listening and knew this was an important test for the kid. The test was simple: could he take a life and maintain his purity? Or would he give in to his baser instincts and bloodlust? Breaking from his thoughts, Kurama decided to speak up. Hey, Kit, you going to be able to go through with this? What? Oh, yeah, I will be fine, Kurama. I knew it was coming sooner or later. Do you have any advice for me? Replied Naruto through a clearly muddled mind. Listen, Kit, this world is harsh. These bandits are evil. Didn't you tell me you dislike anything that would remove control from a sentient being? Well, that's what these bandits are doing to those women and villages. Kyuubi trailed off with that, wanting to see how the boy would take it. Surprisingly, Kurama's words struck a chord with Naruto. An immediate improvement to the weather inside the mindscape let Kurama know that the boy had found his resolve. Just outside of Tonika town, Team Ro halted. Naruto created 6 clone captains and assigned them search sectors. Then, Naruto hanged to look like a civilian and approached his point of contact, the town mayor. The mayor noticed a new unknown civilian approaching his office and was surprised when the civilian walked right in and applied some seal to his office door. Sir, I am a shinobi from the Hidden Leaf answering your mission request. Is there any additional information you can provide? They took 3 more girls last night. The girls are not even teenagers for Kami's sake, replied a destitute mayor. Don't worry, mayor. Be ready to receive the girls tonight. My team has found the bandit camp. I will recover the women and then destroy the bandit camp. Thank you, Shinobi-san. We will be ready for them. Earlier, Clone Team 4 had found the bandit camp and one of its members dispelled, letting the others know. Now, unbeknownst to the bandits, 120 eyes were watching every move in the camp. The clones found the main tent and noticed a big and burly bandit leader. The clones also noted the tent next to that where the women and children were being kept. With his enhanced eyesight and hearing from Kurama, the clones were having a hard time not charging in right there. The despicable thoughts of the bandits, the sound of slapping and crying all heaped fuel on the fire that was Naruto's resolve. Kitsune dispelled his clones, then ran over his plan with Team Ro and Kurama. Now, it was time to execute. Naruto created 10 clone captains. 2 clone captains were responsible for retrieval of the women. That would mean he could grab 20 women and shunshin out of the camp. He only knew of 12 missing women, so that should be more than enough. Clone squads 3 to 10 would surround the bandit camp. Once the women are out, it would be time to light it up. Naruto joined Team 1 and 2 clone captains. They killed the sentries on the south side of the camp with kunai. It wasn't hard, they were immobile targets. Naruto and the clone captains hid the bodies and hanged into their most recent victims. Then they walked toward the tent that held the women captives. The sounds coming from inside the tent were not pretty. I abhor rape, so I will not elaborate or illustrate this scene. Naruto felt his anger synchronize with Kurama's. The old fox might be a pervert, but it believes rape to be a crime more severe than murder. The 3 Naruto broke their henge, dashed silently into the tent. The real Naruto slapped a privacy seal on the tent so no sounds could escape. Then Naruto yanked the 5 bandits that were forcing themselves on the women off and dragged them to the other side of the tent where he and his clones removed their heads with their wakizashis. The girls screamed for a second, but Naruto was able to hush them. I am a ninja from Konoha. I have been sent here to help you. Is this everyone? He asked when they all calmed down. No, my friend was taken by the big one not even 20 minutes ago. Cried out a frantic girl in her early teens. All the girls were in rough shape. Dirt covered their knees and hands, and their clothing was ripped. Okay, I will go get her. Each of you hold on to one of my clones and they are going to get you out of here. He said as he made the familiar cross shape. 11 clones popped out and grabbed a hold of the women and girls. Naruto removed the privacy seal and then the clones used shunshin to move the women to the casualty collection point. Naruto crept through the shadows and heard what was happening inside. He could only sense the big man and a girl. He slapped another privacy seal on the tent and snuck in. What he saw made his eyes glow red and turn into feral slits. Kurama's chakra poured out of him and held near his skin in a basic cloak. Naruto's fingernails elongated and his whisker marks darkened. The big bandit felt the ominous shift in the air and turned around. With his pants still down and covered in the girl's blood, the bandit's mini-me was standing up for a few to see. Naruto blurred forward and separated the twigs and berries from the bandit. The man screamed loudly and fell to his knees. Naruto ripped out the man's tongue and cut off his hands. He zipped behind the man and severed his Achilles tendons so he couldn't move. He didn't finish him off though, he knew the clone's barrage would do the job. Instead, he forcibly calmed himself and approached the crying girl. She reeled back from him, not trusting him. He held up his hands. "Miss, it's okay. Your mayor sent me, and I am trying to get you out of here. My team has the camp surrounded and is going to destroy it soon. We need to go." With her consent, he covered her in his Anbu cloak. He was too tiny to scoop her bridal style, so he had her climb on his back. It took her a while to trust him, but she finally climbed on his back and wrapped her legs around his waist. He could feel her shaking from the traumatic experience. He left the privacy seal on the tent as he left. Upon exiting the tent he shunshined to the casualty collection point and flared his chakra. That was the signal for the clone barrage. From both sides of the bandit encampment, clone teams launched great fireballs enhanced by wind jutsu. The clones kept the barrage up for 3 minutes. The firestorm that ensued made sure there were no survivors. Just flaming carcasses, melted sword and ashes of belongings. After their job was done, the clones dispelled. The backlash and visuals of the bandits burning alive hit Kitsune. The whole mission hit Kitsune all at once. He fell onto his knees and puked his guts out. He held it together and didn't freeze. However, as soon as the adrenaline left him, it all came into focus. He had just killed 152 men. It was all him. His eyes went out of focus and he looked off into the woods. The last girl he saved came around to his front, looked him in the eyes and then pulled him into a hug. 2 words pulled Naruto back from the brink: "Thank you." You're welcome," he replied in a whisper. He gathered himself together and noticed the bruising and light bleeding that marred the girl's gentle features. He used some basic healing jutsu on the girl. The fresh marks on her face and abdomen faded and she smiled at him. She thanked him again and ran back to the other girls. Hibi and Nico came over and rubbed his back. "You did good, Gaki. I know it's hard, killing should always be hard. It means you're still human," intoned Hibi in a gentle and knowing tone. "We are here for you, Kitsune-kun," said Nico, backing up Hibi. Kurama had watched his container. He thought he might lose it there when he went into the last tent, but he brought it under control to help that poor girl. The kid did well, as always, he exceeded my expectations. And he even honored me by incinerating them. Nothing like burning the evil out of this world. It is what the sage made me for. Kurama felt proud when reflecting on his container's actions. He reaches out to his container. "Kit, you did well. You didn't hesitate, you didn't lose yourself in the bloodlust, you controlled my power. Most importantly, look at those 12 girls. You saved them and gave them another chance at life. You did that, Kit. This means you also passed my test to work on controlling the second tail. I will leave you with that. Good night, Kit." "Thanks Q, I appreciate it. Get some rest, I will finish up here." Even Naruto's thoughts carried a weak tone with them. Later, in the Hokage's office, Naruto gave the Hokage his mission report. Hiruzen winced when he heard the estimated number of bandits. 150 of them and he doesn't have a scratch on him. This kid is unbelievable. Thought Hiruzen. I guess this means I will have to make him a full Anbu for a while. I still plan on graduating him with the other clan children. That will be a great year for him to make his public introduction. Okay then, I just have to make sure he survives 2 years of Anbu, easy, right? Hiruzen was completely lost in his train of thought. Kitsune has watched the Hokage's eyes go blank there for a bit. He knew his Gigi didn't want him working in Anbu for real. But I want to protect. I am strong enough, so he needs to let me protect my home. Thought Naruto. Team Ro looked on patiently as their Hokage and youngest member lost themselves in thought. Finally, Inu made a coughing sound and brought both of them back to the office. "Oh, yes, Kitsune-kun. You are now an official member of Team Ro. You may collect your mission reward and your reward money at the bank. I told him it was pay for an extended mission. Do enjoy. You have the next 3 days off and then Team Ro will commence working as a full-time Anbu squad again. Hi, Hokage-sama, replied Team Ro confirming their orders. The Uchiha incident. For the last 2 years, Fugaku, Mikoto, Shisui, and eventually Itachi, were looking into the Uchiha clan. It was slow progress because Fugaku had to handle this matter very delicately. He started by gathering the clan to the shrine and activating his Mangekyo Sharingan to demonstrate his power to his clan. My brethren, we of the proud and mighty Uchiha clan, represent the might of Konohage Corps. I call upon my clan to help me demonstrate our might. I have 2 here, Shisui Uchiha and Utate Uchiha that have reached my level and activated their moves. Are there any others? Will any of you stand up and make the Uchiha rise to the pinnacle of our village's ninja forces? Will any more of my brothers rise to the challenge and reach my level? There was a cheer for the 3 Uchiha standing up front with the MS activated for the whole clan to see. This was Mikoto's idea, play to the pride and power of the Uchiha and get the potential culprit to reveal himself. Nothing happened that meeting. Nothing happened for the next 3 months. Then, an elder approached him with something new. The elder was Mideku Uchiha. He approached Fugaku in a very cautious manner. Good evening, Fugaku-sama. I was moved by your demonstration at the shrine a while back. Fugaku kept a blank face and replied, thank you, Mideku-san. It is an honor to lead the Uchiha clan to glory. I hope for your continued support. Mideku gave a small, brief smile and replied, of course, Fugaku-sama. I wish to aid you in restoring our clan to its deserved glory. Please meet me at the shrine on the next full moon. There is someone I wish you to meet. I would be honored, Mideku-san. I will be there, said Fugaku in a neutral voice. He gave the elder a nod and walked home. When Fugaku discussed this with Mikoto and Shisui, they decided that Fugaku should attend the meeting. He would need to keep his guard up, but if he flared his chakra, they would be there to back him up. 3 weeks later, at midnight on the full moon, Fugaku appeared in the Uchiha clan shrine. Mideku was waiting there for him with 2 others. They exchanged greetings. Fugaku was surprised, he wasn't expecting 2 more elders to be here. Then, behind the Uchiha tablet a swirl began to appear. It was like a hole in space had just opened up. Out of this swirl stood a man, about 5 feet 10 inches, in a dark black cloak with the Uchiha crest. He wore an orange swirl mask with an eye hole on the right side. Fugaku had unexpectedly activated his own MS in response to his arrival. The man in the orange mask then spoke, it is good to see that at least one of my progeny has reached the next level of the Sharingan. My name is Madara Uchiha, and I have come to reclaim my clan and my village. Fugaku was floored, he saw this man, felt his power and now was looking at a MS hidden behind the eye hole on the right side of the man's orange mask. Then said man claims to be Madara Uchiha, the same Madara Uchiha that was beaten and supposedly killed by the first Hokage. Forgive me, Madara-san. You claim to be Madara Uchiha, but history claims he was killed nearly 80 years ago. That would mean you are about 120 years old. Am I about right on that? The man in the mask chuckled darkly, Fugaku. Mideku told me that you were a smart one. Alas, I am that Madara. It took me quite some time to heal from those wounds that Hashirama gave me. However, from those wounds I rose with an even greater dujutsu and a mission from the rabbit goddess. I will lead the Uchiha clan again to glory and unite the nations under the infinite Tsukuyomi. You need make but one choice, will you join me or die here? Fugaku bowed his head, Madara-sama, you are a legend among shinobi. However, I am the leader of my clan, and I cannot hand over the reins to an unknown. I ask that you show me undeniable proof that you are who you claim. If so, I will follow you. Very well, said the man claiming to be Madara in a low tone. He then used Madara's eye to force Fugaku into the Tsukuyomi and he showed him his meeting with Black Zetsu, the will of the rabbit goddess as well as memories from Madara's life. Fugaku was very disturbed by what he saw and felt in Madara's world. It was dark and hopeless, like all of the color had been drained out of life. That Zetsu creature is surely evil. Nothing good will come of allowing it to influence the Uchiha clan, but I cannot beat him right now, not alone. I need to buy time and gain his trust. Fugaku bended down on one knee, followed by the other clan elders. What would you have us do, Madara-sama? After that night, Fugaku had several meetings with the Madara. He was also forced to act as an agent of Madara. Fugaku used Shisui to pass messages to the Hokage, since he was in Anbu. The Hokage was very wary of acting too hastily. He wanted to know how deep this ran. There would only be one shot at removing Madara's influence from the Uchiha clan. This same damned Madara killed his successor, used the Kyuubi to attack the village and was now corrupting his village through the shadows. Hiruzen knew that this needed to stay quiet, and it required decisive action. The always happy Shisui's mood had darkened since hearing of his clan's dilemma. If this goes too far, we will not be able to bring the clan back from the precipice. For the past year, he had watched more and more of his clan's warriors fall to the delusions of this Madara. That name inspired so much fear in the clan, and fear motivated people in the worst way. He was happy he had Itachi. Itachi was his best friend and fellow Anbu. They were the Hokage's link to Fugaku throughout this mess in the Uchiha clan. Fugaku let him know that a revolt was coming soon. He could no longer hold back the tides of betrayal. The coup d'etat was supposed to take place over the New Year holiday, when Konoha's shinobi would be at their most vulnerable. It was now mid-October, so that gave the Hokage 2 months to act. These heavy thoughts kept Shisui down. The weight of this secret dragged on him. The 4 loyal Uchiha were the only support that could be relied upon. Finally, Hiruzen called all 4 of them into his office. Inside were Danzo, Koharu and Jiraiya. Every member present held Hiruzen's trust, and their input was needed throughout this whole debacle. Hiruzen gave a weary look around the room. When he was in this mood, the years caught up to him and showed upon his wrinkled and aged face. The time has come to act. We cannot let the rot spread even more. We will do it all at once and try to remove this tumor before it gets the chance to spread. Fugaku knew his clan messed up. He had nearly given in to the tidings of the madman himself, but Mikoto kept him anchored. Thank Kami for that woman. Their relationship had improved since they took time training Naruto. That little kid really had a way of rubbing off on people. The light he brought back to Fugaku allowed Fugaku the humility to apologize to Mikoto for treating her as subservient. He had changed and she had reciprocated. The two started fresh and Mikoto was allowed out of the compound as a part-time teacher at the academy. Teaching Naruto had inspired her, and she wanted to continue teaching the youth, the future of Konoha. Fugaku was so lost in his thoughts that he barely heard the Hokage's plan. Hokage-sama and honorable elders, if I may. This was a problem created by my clan. I have talked with those present and we will be the ones to handle the rebellion. I ask that you respect my decision as a clan head. The room, aside from the Uchihas, was taken aback. Hiruzen never intended on making them shoulder that burden. Hell, even Danzo just thought of overwhelming them with the numbers and strength of Konoha. Fugaku continued, Hokage-sama, this is an Uchiha problem. If we allow other clans and shinobi of Konoha to fix it for us, then the clan will lose much more honor and standing than if we handle it ourselves. For the sake of the future Uchiha, I ask you to let us handle this. As he concluded, Fugaku and the 3 other Uchiha bowed their heads low. A sign of trust that the Hokage did not miss. Very well, what is your plan, Fugaku? Hiruzen replied tentatively. The next clan meeting is in 3 days at the shrine. All those involved in the planned coup should be there. I ask for your discretion, cordon off the Uchiha clan district with Anbu. Give them standing orders that they are not to intervene until we have cleansed the clan of traitors or died trying. Fugaku said this with his head still bowed. Hiruzen knew these were the words of a man at peace with his decision. Shisui, Itachi, how do you two feel about this? The Hokage didn't want 2 of his star Anbu to crack from something as dark as this. Our loyalty is to you, Hokage-sama, and to the village of Konohagakure no Sato. We will do what must be done, replied the boys with a bow and salute. Hiruzen let out a deep sigh. Not even his pipe could make this feel better. Very well, you will have Anbu support should you need it. Unless the signal is given, they will remain on support at the edge of the Uchiha compound. I pray for your success. Nighttime, October 25th, on the outskirts of the Uchiha compound. Kitsune was agitated. Kitsune was pissed. Kitsune needed somebody to shove a chill pill down his fucking throat. Inu watched as Kitsune fidgeted in his position. The normally well-behaved and positive boy emanated a chilling aura. Ever since the details of the mission tonight were given to Team Ro, Kitsune had been this way. Inu flashed behind Kitsune and put a hand on his shoulder. I know this is hard for you, but our orders are to wait for the signal. They will be okay. All he received in response was a nearly imperceptible nod. Inside, Naruto was a mess. He could feel the negative emotions pouring out of the Uchiha compound. He could feel the clash of chakra and the agitated spikes. The only thing that kept him rooted was being able to feel those 5 chakra signatures. If he felt them in trouble, Kitsune would go, consequences be damned. Kurama drew Naruto into the mindscape and forced him to calm down. He flashed Naruto a memory that would distract him for the time being. Kurama liked this memory because it demonstrated Naruto's ability to change others and bring light to the world. Flashback. Naruto was 8 years old and Mikoto had invited him over to celebrate Sasuke's birthday during one of their training sessions. Unlike his other friend, Sasuke stayed within the Uchiha compound most of the time. He didn't put much effort into hanging out with his classmates and developing those bonds. Thanks to the training sessions, Naruto was the closest thing Sasuke had to a best friend. Naruto showed up to Sasuke's birthday and noticed that all in attendance were from the Uchiha clan. The party was a pretty standard affair, and it was far less lively than most parties Naruto had attended. The only real interaction with Sasuke was when he gave him a set of training weights that he had made personally. He knew that all Sasuke cared about was getting stronger to make his father proud, so he figured a training-related present would make Sasuke happy. Sasuke had given him a genuine smile and thank you. No, the party wasn't what made this day memorable. It was his interaction with Fugaku that made this day worth remembering. Naruto had noticed throughout the party that Fugaku rarely paid any attention to Mikoto aside from giving her commands. He had noticed this during training and other time as well. However, it seemed even more rigid today, which ticked the blonde 8-year-old off. Nobody talked down to his Mikoto-sensei and got away with it, especially since he found out Mikoto was his mom's best friend. After Fugaku had barked at Mikoto for something trivial, like running out of drinks or something stupid, Naruto had reached his limit. He marched over to Fugaku, grabbed his wrist with his tiny hand, and dragged him out back. Fugaku had initially been angry, but that changed to confusion when he saw the look on Naruto's face. He had come to understand and respect the kid after years of training him. Hell, he even went as far as letting Itachi make an oath of brotherhood with him. However, he had never seen Naruto look at his like this. Fugaku-sensei, what did Kami stick up your ass to make you think it is okay to talk to Mikoto-bachan like that? The anger was radiating off of Naruto and made his voice sound gruffer than usual. What do you mean, Naruto-kun? Mikoto is my wife, the Uchiha are a patriarchal clan, therefore she must listen to me and follow my orders. What the fuck is wrong with you, Fugaku-san? You think it is okay to treat somebody you are supposed to love like that? If so, then I no longer wish to study under you. Naruto's voice shook and the extra emphasis he put on, san, really hurt Fugaku. Look here, Naruto-kun. I wouldn't expect you to understand. Fugaku was startled when Naruto cut him off. No, you look here, Fugaku-san. I may not be married but I know what love is. The way you treat Mikoto, Itachi and Sasuke is not love. It is a perversion of your pride. It's disgusting. And don't try to lie to me or beat around the bush, you know about my sensory ability. Now Naruto's whole body was shaking. His features were turning feral, and an aura was materializing around him. Okay, Naruto, calm down. Now is not the time or place for the Kyuubi's chakra. Let me ask you this, what have I done to upset you so much? I have spent years training you alongside my sons. I have brought you into my family. Once again Fugaku was cut off. You do that. You call them your family but treat them like your soldiers. You do everything in the name of your clan and because of that you lost your way. You used to smile a lot more, laugh even. You would ruffle Itachi's hair and took pride in him. Some time ago, I don't know exactly when, but you stopped doing that. You started talking in commands and orders like some emotionless military drone. The love that filled your heart gave way to pride and you started scrutinizing your family instead of loving them. Do you know what Sasuke wants the most from you on a day like today? Naruto challenged Fugaku and got silence in return. All he ever wanted was to spend a day with you. All he ever wanted to hear you say you are proud of him. All Itachi ever wanted was for you to see him as a son rather than an Uchiha or a shinobi. All Mikoto ever wants anymore is to catch a glimpse of the man she fell in love with. If you can't figure that much out, then don't bother to come and teach me anymore. I have no need for a blind instructor. Naruto left the broken Uchiha patriarch and said his goodbyes before leaving the Uchiha district. He needed to get away from all that negativity. Mikoto later told Naruto that she had found Fugaku sitting and crying where Naruto had left him. She told him about Fugaku's apology and the changes that all started that day. She thanked him for bringing her husband back to her. Flashback end. Damn, Q. I don't know if that was the memory that I would have chosen to calm me down. Relax, Kit. I have no love for the Sharingan, but they are the only Uchiha to have earned a modicum of my respect. You changed that prideful ninja that day and he has redeemed his family. Have faith, Kit, they will be okay. Kurama said softly in the back of Naruto's mind. Q. I can't help it. I have a terrible feeling and I can basically sense the whole damned battle. We set up this barrier so others couldn't feel the chakra, but I can. I can feel the fighting. It started one-sided because they had the element of surprise, but now it is an all-out brawl. Yeah, Kit, I can feel it too. Their chakra is still strong though they will be fine. 10 minutes of heavy fighting later, 4 beaten, bruised and bloody figures stood over the rest. Itachi sent the signal flare into the Anbu tattoo and the support squads were moving in. The first to respond was Naruto. He saw the bodies of nearly 50 Uchiha warriors, dead in one way or another. The remnants of chakra and fire flickered around the battlefield. Naruto walked carefully through the bodies and approached Itachi. He noticed immediately the difference in Itachi's eyes. In fact, while Kitsune looked him over for injuries, he noticed that all 4 Uchiha were looking at him with some form of the Mangekyo Sharingan. A chill ran down Kurama's spine when he saw this. Just as Kitsune was opening his mouth to ask if they were okay, a swirl appeared behind Fugaku. Naruto channeled as much chakra to his feet as he could, but he wasn't fast enough to stop the katana that pierced through Fugaku's back. He was only fast enough to catch his falling form. Kitsune's chakra exploded. A shroud appeared around his body with 2 full tails and fox ears. Kitsune was good when it came to fighting the Sharingan due to all of his spars, so he kept his eyes on the cloaked torso of the man. He launched himself at the man in the orange mask. He was baffled when his punch phased right through the man, as if he were an illusion. And Naruto might have thought he were an illusion, if the man didn't mule kick him in the chest and send him flying into the Uchiha tablet. The crunch of bone everyone heard didn't seem to bother Naruto because he got right back up. In a crouched posture, the start of his father's hummingbird fist, Naruto attacked in a more controlled manner this time. He watched his fist phase into the man. As he pulled it back, he was forced to block a strong counter from the bastard Uchiha. Naruto flipped back and watched as Shisui and Itachi tried their own attacks. The man just stood still and let everything phase through him. Once the group had reformed and taken a defensive posture, the man spoke. I was beginning to believe that the 4th really had killed the Kyuubi. Imagine my surprise to find you here. After Naruto snarled at him, he continued, I am not here for you today, Kyuubi Jinchuriki. I came today to measure out punishment for betrayal. It seems that he underestimated the price of betraying Madara Uchiha. Farewell for today, know that this is just getting started, Kyuubi. The man then phased back out in the shimmer of a spiral. Just like that, his presence was gone. All attention shifted to Fugaku who was on his last leg. A couple of Anbu medics had arrived, but there was very little they could do. Itachi, take care of your mother and brother. I am sorry it took me so long to be a father to you. Know that I am proud of you. Fugaku was racked with a fit of coughs and spit out a sizable quantity of blood. Mikoto, my love, know that I will wait for you in the pure world. I thank you for your forgiveness and patience. I leave the clan to you until Itachi is old enough. You are the light that brought me out of the darkness. I will always love you. At this point he was fading out and closed his eyes, but he continued whispering, tell Sasuke that with that incomplete thought, the Uchiha and Naruto broke down. They were huddled together over Fugaku's body trying to comfort each other in any way they could. Itachi was hunched down and crying into Naruto's shoulder while Shisui was holding the quivering form of Mikoto close to his chest. The Hokage showed up and organized the cleanup operation. All deceased Uchiha were taken to the morgue and watched by 2 loyal Uchiha guards. Those that took part in the operation were taken to the hospital to have the wounds tended to. Naruto was distraught. He had to watch one of his father figures die at the hands of the same man that took his family from him. The pressure of his chakra had cracked his Anbu Kitsune mask down the middle, but he still had it strapped to cover the tears that were falling freely. Kurama was working extra hard to hold back his chakra so the child wouldn't snap and lose it. The Kyuubi's chakra was naturally drawn to emotions like the ones Naruto was putting off in spades. Team Ro was huddled around him in the Anbu HQ. They remained silent, but present. They all felt like they owed the energetic young Anbu in some way. They knew they couldn't leave him alone, but they also knew he had to be the one to speak. Naruto retreated to the comfort of his mindscape and opened the door that took him to Fugaku. All of the time that he had invested into Naruto flashed into Naruto's mind. Naruto owed that man a great debt. He felt the pull from the Kyuubi as he was watching various memories play out. After Kami knows how long, Naruto pulled himself out of the memories and went to see what the fox wanted. Kurama looked down on the boy, his tear-stained face, sobs racking his form and the slumped shoulders. He knew that this was another hurdle that the child needed to overcome, but he needed the child to calm down. His chakra was leaking out and he needed the boy to get it under control. Kit, I am sorry for your loss. That Uchiha was slightly better than most. I am not poking fun at him. I was beginning to respect him, and I acknowledge the debt you owe him. Naruto looked up, barely able to make eye contact with the fox. I don't know what to do. I am not strong enough to fight Madara. Whatever we threw at him just went right through him and then, wham. He just clocks me. Itachi and Shisui too. I am so frustrated, I am so angry, my heart hurts so bad. As he was speaking, the Kyuubi's chakra was taking for around him. Kit, come here and sit. Come into the seal, it will be easier for me to control my chakra. Right now, you are entering level 1 in the real world. You need to rein it in. Tell me, Kit, what did you say to me the second time we met? This question caught Naruto off guard. It made all the chaos in his mind and heart pause as he tried to remember what Kurama was talking about. I am Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. I will become the Hokage, I will never give up, I will never go back on my word, mumbled Naruto through the raging storm that was his mind. Yes, Kit. That is what you said to me. That is the standard I am holding you to. Do not give up. The first loss is hard, I still feel the pain from when the sage left us. But what did your Hokage tell you that a shinobi is? What does it mean to be a shinobi? Realization dawned on Naruto. The storm that filled the sky over the seal dissipated into a cloudy sky. A shinobi is one who endures. A shinobi is the one that can move past pain and hardship to accomplish his mission. That's right, Kit. I don't agree with a lot of your human ways, but that is a way I can respect. Now, Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, are you a shinobi? Are you going to become the Hokage or are you going to disrespect all the effort that Ninjan put into you? Are you going to bring peace to the shinobi world or are you going to give up, go back on your word and let me eat you? Kurama never thought that he was any good at this sort of crap. I mean, I am a biju created to absorb human hatred and cleanse evil from the land. Yet here I am helping this human, my jailer. Father, please let this boy be the one. Thought the Kyuubi as he watched the life return to Naruto's eyes. The deep, dull blue brightened into the normal azure color. Thanks, Kurama. Thanks for being my partner, I don't know what I would do without you. I can feel Team Ro freaking out, so I am going to go deal with that. Thanks again. Naruto fist bumped Kurama's paw and left the mindscape. Outside, Team Ro was looking at Naruto and they were in battle postures. They had seen the Kyuubi cloak sprout up out of nowhere and they were concerned. Hell, they were terrified. They didn't want to fight the Kyuubi inside Anbu HQ. The chakra spike had drawn the attention of a couple more Anbu teams, so Naruto realized he was surrounded. Kitsune, is that you? Asked a hesitant Inu. Hi, Inu Teiku. I was losing my shit in front of the fox, and he helped me calm down. His chakra is naturally drawn to those kinds of emotions, and he couldn't stop it from getting out. He talked to me, and I feel better now. I am going to go lay down. The whole room watched the boy get up and casually walk out of the room like nothing special happened. Nobody knew what the fuck just happened or what they should do. So, they all collapsed on the couch before deciding to just get on with the day. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.